Hello, everybody, and welcome to another Ultra Confusion Hangout. I am your host, Charlie, and I'm joined once again by the prolific commenter himself, and of course, coming from a brand new location, Zelius.
Greetings and salutations, good people. Indeed, I'm coming to you live from my office space at work because we have a concert coming up in a very few short minutes, and apparently I am now outing sound technician to my job description.
Woo! Hot damn.
Oh, it's very exciting. I know nothing about mixers or how to use them. Apparently, I get to learn.
Awesome. Awesome. Yes, of course, all
Kind of a scary
technology
thought, but
all technology is the same. So if you know some technology, you know all technology.
exactly. If I could turn on a computer, I could turn on a sound mixer, right? It all
Of
kind of
course.
works the same.
Of course. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I've got a couple little bit of information to give out, as it were. Um, I am happy to announce that it's not 100% final, but it's about 90% final. Myself, Charlie, will be appearing on an internet radio show for a station called Business Radio X that interviews innovative entrepreneurs in the local area. A local area for me, I mean, it's all over the place, but for this show, it's going to be the Sandy Springs show. So I will be going on radio to talk about Ultra Confusion.
Rock on, you're very nice.
Yes, yes.
That could be interesting.
Yes, it could be. Okay. Second of all, I probably said this in something slightly different, that I was in the middle of doing a playthrough for the Whispered
You got
World.
a haircut.
Yes, I did. I got quite a lot of hair taken away.
Yes, you did. You're not quite like poofy.
Yeah. Um, I probably said something along the lines of I was going to do the Whispered World, and I'm actually like 4 episodes in. But unfortunately, I'm going to have to scrap the entire thing because I've been saving over my saves, and it turns out
Ooh.
that episode 2, I never actually hit the stop record button, and then Windows decided to do an update and restart the computer without asking me. So it's a junk file. There's no header or end to the file, and so I can't recover it. I downloaded about 8 different types of different applications to try to recover the video. It cannot be done, um, which is kind of it's a mixed thing. I will probably continue to play the Whispered World, but not do it through a playthrough. This, of course, is a game that was originally released many, many years ago. They released a special edition just recently. Of course, it's Data Link Entertainment to kind of get you back into the groove of Whispered World, because Whispered World 2, The Silence, I think it's like Silence or The Silence, it's coming out really soon. So it's kind of, trying to get you back in the groove. So I will be writing a review for the game, but unfortunately, there's not going to be a playthrough that goes along with it.
Right on you.
The other thing, so what am I going to be playing instead of the Whispered World, you might be asking yourself. Well,
I am asking myself that.
the answer to that question, my friend, is a game called Memento Mori 2. I reached out. I reached out to the developers, or excuse me, the publishers today, and asked for their permission to review their game. They just gave me the review code, so I just installed it. I had a couple little bumps right off the bat. I guess the graphics engine that they're using was looking for a specific file in my PhysX directory, which wasn't there, so it was crashing.
No.
So I uninstalled PhysX, reinstalled it, started playing it, and now I've run into an interesting issue. It runs, but in
But
in, in, in the top corner, about like right here, yeah, right there, the entire time, it says PhysX Arrow CPU and will not go away. And I'm pretty sure
huh.
that's not part of the game. So I'm trying to see if there's like a setting I can turn off so that I don't have to know how my PhysX is operating. Because I
Sounds like
understand.
physics is messing with your game just a little.
Well, there's two different ways to render physics. You either render it on the graphics card or you render it utilizing your CPU. I would like it for to be on my graphics card, but for some reason it keeps using this. It's saying it's using the CPU. So,
Wasn't
but
it the whole point of having a graphics card is that it renders on your graphics
right,
card?
right, absolutely. Well, so now I'm splitting. I've got like the majority of my graphics going through the graphics card, but the physics portion of the engine is running on my CPU, which I don't know if that's
Gotcha.
going to have detrimental effects down the line, but who
I
knows?
wouldn't think it would have positive effects.
Right. Okay. So Zelius and I last week both decided to start playing a game.
Hmm,
Uh,
indeed.
yes, Zelius apparently gave up on it quite soon after starting. So, Zelius, with your brief time in the MMO WildStar, tell me what you thought about it, please.
I enjoyed my short stay in WildStar Beta. I played, I think, till level 8, and I played as I think the class is called like the Stalker or something.
Uh huh.
Basically, it's like the assassin or thief build,
Okay.
close up melee, where it's lots of fast attacks. I enjoyed the gameplay that I got to play. Um, Combat was a bit different than most of your MMOs because most of your MMOs, it's kind of like you target, it's like you tab over to your targets.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like you click on target here and you attack them. And sure, you can attack multiple targets, but it's either A, because you have like, a fireball spell that's intended to take out multiple targets,
Mm-hmm.
but most of the time, like you kind of have to attack each target at once. You maybe have a few limited selections of your multi-attack targets,
Mm-hmm.
whereas, at least for my character class, it was very much obvious that you're going to be taking on multiple enemies a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Not just with your abilities, because I mean, hell, my main spam ability
Yep.
was it does damage to 3 or 5 people like right off the bat.
Mm-hmm.
And then like basically all my attack abilities but one did like some kind of multi-attack. It's attacking multiple targets. Only one of my action, and that was only a stealth attack
Right.
that only attacked one.
Mm-hmm.
And even when you're running around, I mean, very much, there was usually 2 or 3 people grouped up, anyways, as bad enemies.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then at the same time, you're also not typically tab targeting. It uses kind of hitboxes. So, as my guy, I kind of had like a straight line,
Mm-hmm.
and I knew an attack in that straight line or a circle depending on the attack.
Right.
And so that's how I kind of did my attacks, is you know where your hitbox is going to be, which I think was kind of a cool and different way of doing the actual gameplay. Um, I'm not sure how I feel about the questing. It seemed kind of, I don't know, weird how they set up the questing with like the zones and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't get very far into questing, but I'm not gonna say it's bad because I didn't get to do it very much. It just was a little bit of a different feel than a typical MMO. Like I said, not necessarily a bad thing. It was just a little bit like, this is a little bit different.
Right.
Because they kind of like number all your quests, and then you gotta go back in your map and find like the number for that quest, and sometimes it was a little bit confusing to me. Um,
I'm going
but
to give you a hint about that.
yeah,
The lower the number, the closer you are to
that makes sense.
it.
But then, like, if you're running, the quest you're looking for is going to change from like 3, 2, 1, and it's like,
Yeah.
wait, shoot, which quest am I actually looking for now?
Well, the thing is, it also auto sorts.
Hmm.
So what you could do is you could click on the actual quest name, and it will give you the direction and the amount of distance you got
Yeah.
left.
Yeah. So questing was interesting. I have a feeling that's one of those things will kind of be fleshed out more as you kind of get to actual release on how that's kind of set up.
Hmm.
I don't like the idea of an auto sorting my quest. I'd rather just have it like a static numbered,
Hmm.
and I run to that number instead of it dynamically changing. Or maybe that'd be a useful thing to have like in options. Do you
Right.
want a dynamically changing quest list or just static?
Hmm.
Boom, there you go.
Hmm.
Um, I felt like I was kind of slow running in the game. Like running from point A to point B felt a little bit on the slow side to me.
Did you ever hold down the shift key?
Yes,
Okay.
even my little 10-second burst of sprint
Yeah, I
sometimes
didn't
felt.
know about that until about level 13.
It was one of like the little tutorial things, like at level 1 or 2.
Yeah, I missed it.
That's all right. Um, I did find the kind of subclass interesting because you could pick like what was it like? Not
Explorer,
warrior, but explorer. You could be a settler. You could
settler.
be a scientist,
Yeah.
and one was like the warrior path. Not wasn't warrior. I forget what it's called now though.
Hmm.
Soldier maybe.
Hmm.
That's the one I picked, of course. Where basically you go out and kill more people. So
Right.
you kind of have different things to do besides just questing, which is kind of cool. It's just like more quest, really.
Right.
Um, so I mean, overall, it's an interesting game. I enjoyed playing it in my short-lived MMO life. I doubt I'll be buying it for $60 plus a subscription out of the gate.
Hmm.
But when it's been out for a couple of months and it's kind of had some solid revisions and it's out down to like 20 or $30, then I probably give it a hook. I know the company NC Soft, they're also committed to one of their rationales behind subscriptions, which I get, is they want to do a lot of small updates constantly instead of just a few large ones
Hmm.
occasionally.
Hmm.
So,
Okay, so real quick, the paths that Zelius was talking about. Um, it's explorer, soldier, settler, scientist. Yeah, that's what it's scientist, settler, soldier, and explorer.
yeah, we
Uh,
got that covered.
um, I am a spell slinger explorer. Explorer is a lot. It definitely gives you a different pace in the game. You're doing a lot of like map plotting, which allows for other stuff to open up down the line. Um,
Hmm.
some of the stuff is like, I mean, it. Okay, in Guild Wars 2, you know how you can look for the vistas. Um,
Yes.
that's basically the Explorer is the Vista
Okay.
Finder, but it's a little bit more complicated than that. You will also go on these like kind of like treasure hunts, but you don't actually get to keep any of the treasure. You get a special reward for completing it, but you'll sometimes run into basically this guy will give you three different clues, and if you find all three, you complete it and you get like a special item for it or something.
I
Um,
love those one of the old comics where like the joke is you do an NPC quest, you
mhm,
go get 5 gold pieces for him,
mhm.
and then he gives you a gold sword worth a sword worth 1 gold.
Right.
And it's like keep the 5 gold.
Yeah. No, no, no. Okay. So yeah. Um, one of my biggest issues, and Zelius has already talked about this, is that the battle system is not like your average MMO, where basically you lock on a target and then you can spam the shit out of keys. You actually have to keep your target sort of in front of you
Yep.
to actually attack. Um, so my biggest issue though is that for me, I one of the ways to basically spam the crap out of the first action, because your first action is your basic attack, even though it is labeled number one on your hotkeys, which is kind of weird. But anyways, um, you can spam the crap out of one, or you can hit the right mouse button,
Which
which
I did not know until you told me yesterday.
yeah. So first of all, I feel like I'm about to lose my middle finger because I have to spam so much. And sometimes I'm just like, fuck it. I just move my finger over, start clicking on the right. But my biggest issue is that if your cursor moves and you have a split second where you don't continuously rapid fire, you will lose focus on your enemies. And then you got to find the cursor again and hope to God you don't die. Because one of the humongous pieces of this game, once you get into like basically level 14 on, is when you see that your enemy is going to do a special attack,
Oh
you
yeah.
have to dodge. Holy shit, you have to dodge. Now, trying to dodge a regular attack doesn't matter. You could be on the other side of the room. You could dodge away twice. If he's doing a regular attack, he's still going to hit you. But if it's a special attack that shows you um, uh,
Red area of
AoE,
effect,
yeah,
basically.
area of effect, um, and you get outside that, then you won't take the damage. So you got to be really, really on it. Now, of course, you can only dodge twice back to back, and you got to wait for the meter to fill back up. Um, it's interesting. I have to say it's interesting. All of my attacks are basically area of effect. Oh, I mean, I'm ranged shooter, so I'm dual shooting like this, and so it's basically like it goes out like that, and then stops to a point right there, and then of course there's different attacks would do different things. But
Yep.
the quests, it's hit or miss with the quests. There's some times where you'll get a bunch of quests, and then if you finish a specific quest, it'll send you somewhere else. And if you try to follow that quest line, the next thing you know, you're basically on the other side of the map to complete all of the quests that you could easily defeat. And now you're in an area that's, you're like level 18, and now you're in a level 20 area. So you got to be careful. You've got to be very careful about that. There are a ton of tasks that are multiplayer tasks where they recommend 2 or more individuals to complete the task. My solution, because I don't really play well with people, is either run by the evil enemy, because they basically have like 5 times the regular HP of an enemy and could also hit a lot harder. Is I run by them, see if anybody's in the area, because if anybody's in the area, you start attacking the monster, they're going to join in almost 85% of the time.
Mm.
Or I wait until I'm about, like, let's say I've got to kill something at level 12. I wait until I'm level 18 and then run my ass all the way back and then kick the shit out of that guy.
Nice.
Hey, man, that's how I roll. That's how I roll.
Yeah,
Uh,
the other annoying thing I noticed with the questing too is, at
yeah.
least I had this, is I had one quest. In order to like beat that quest,
Uh-huh.
I had to go to these 3 other people and then beat their quest.
Mm. Mm.
And it very quickly became I was also the different faction than you too.
Right.
But it became pretty confusing as far as like where I was on my quest,
Mm-hmm.
because like I had this one quest, so I had to defeat the other 3, and keeping track of like, wait, which ones can I actually go out and beat? Because it still labels like if you have quest 2, it was labeling the original quest giver, who I obviously couldn't talk to,
Right.
and labeling out in the field to go kill somebody.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's what was getting me really confused.
The one thing that I think was probably the most confusing for me personally was when you're trying to complete a quest. I don't know if did you ever initiate challenges while you were playing? So what
I
happens
don't.
is if you go to a specific, you'll go to like a random area, and then let's say that you have a quest to kill, I don't know, 15 of these monsters. There's a chance that there's going to be a challenge that gets initiated, and basically it will also say, hey, you need to kill this many monsters,
Oh,
and then
yes,
and
I do know what
then
you're talking about.
so I get like confused as shit because I'm like, because now I'm trying to keep count 2 counts of the same freaking thing, and sometimes I end up like just like mass murdering all these enemies or having to resurrect constantly because I'm way over my head. Um,
It'll be
I
weird though, because right, it'll be like kill 10 enemies is like
yeah,
the quest, but then there's this challenge now to go kill 50 in 3 minutes
yeah, exactly.
of like the same enemy that you just beat for the quest. And it's
Yeah,
like, that's weird.
yeah. I'm not gonna lie. The majority of the challenges, um, I canceled out of them simply because I was like, I don't want to do this. I mean, no,
Yeah.
because to be honest with you, the majority of the stuff that I got from successfully completing a challenge was shit. I mean, I just turned around and sold it. Yeah, so I've got 27 gold pieces now.
Well, and they were also, then you like had to roll for the piece you actually wanted.
Right. But that doesn't always I mean I did like okay, so um the higher your ranking, the more items and the more variety of items that you could choose from, and also the higher uh, um, multiplier you could add to it. So if you just
Oh,
got
I didn't get
bronze,
that
it
far.
was times 2. If you got it to silver, it's times 5. If it's gold, then it's times 10. So that you would have a greater chance of getting that thing. Now, the thing I did like about that, the kind of like roulette type thing, is even if it wasn't the item that you chose, you still got something. Because I would have been severely pissed if like, oh, sorry, you completed this challenge, but it wasn't the item you selected. So you get butt kiss.
Nice.
Yes. Okay, so the question is, Azealia said that he's not going to be playing this right off the bat. He's going to wait for development. Now the question, of course, falls to me. Will I continue to play this? To be honest with you, I don't know. I've got 3 more days, and then they shut down the open beta. So I'll probably ride that storm right up to the day. But first of all, I don't really have that much money.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm thank you developers out there who are allowing me to review your game and give it review codes because that means I can review a game. And it's ironic. Sometimes I feel like shit. I've taken forever for this game, but it turns out it's like 5 days later, and everyone's like, "Oh my gosh, that's awesome!" I'm like, "You're welcome."
Video game time goes so fast.
I know, I know. Well, it does help to do the walkthrough. The walkthrough, because I've learned you got to do walkthroughs basically around the 30-ish minute mark. So every single episode is about 30 to 40 minutes.
Right on.
Because if you do like an hour and a half in a session, um,
Too long.
I sure as hell am not going to watch
It takes
that.
forever to upload too.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Speaking of which, I did upload the Georgia Game Developers Association panel that was this past Tuesday. It's awesome. If you're interested to see statistics on failure rate of products, if when you create a product, what's the chances of monetizing it? What's the chances of canceling the project because of reasons inside the company or perhaps other opportunities? It's very interesting. Now, there is an individual that was at the panel who always has to argue and always has to put in his 2 cents. So I apologize that you have to hear him in the
Jesse?
middle of it. No, 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 no. No, it's a developer who's in it for and I quote, I will never make a game that I want to play. I'm going to make a game that I know will fit a niche market so I can make some money.
Does
And
it work for him?
enough. I mean,
He's made money?
huh?
Has he made money off of it?
Yeah, he's got 3 versions of the same game. He just upgraded the graphics and added a different gameplay mode.
Hmm.
He's basically following the the um, the structure that all the AAA title guys are doing.
Well, if it works for him.
Yeah, yeah. So I want to get one more thing in because I know that Zelius is on a tight schedule because
Excuse
he's
me.
going to be Mr. Technology Wizard.
Sound guy.
Oh! Um, shit. Hold on. Damn it, I lost it. Uh, some of you might have noticed that I put up quite a lot of reviews this week. That was just odd. I'm not going to be able to put that many reviews up a week. I know that I've been a little bit light on the news side. I apologize for that, but there's not a lot of news to report, and I'm also playing the crap out of a bunch of games. So I'm having to sacrifice one for the other.
There were two pretty big news pieces this week, I thought. The first was Xbox Live Gold is no longer required for streamings such as Hulu, Netflix, which is the big one, I think,
Yep.
and HBO Go, things like that.
Yep.
So at some point in the next coming months, it sounds like you will no longer need that gold subscription.
Yep.
Which I'm happy for. It means I can probably finally get rid of gold because I don't play Xbox for multiplayer games.
Right.
I play my single-player Xbox games, but multiplayer, I'm just going to play on the PC if I'm doing multiplayer.
Right.
That's just my reality. The other one, which I found pretty interesting too, is the Xbox One is dropping the required Kinect. So they're going to sell a box for $100 cheaper that does not come bundled with the Kinect.
Which I think is pointless.
I mean, it's just kind of funny because, I mean, Microsoft for, a year, they were pounding their chest of, Kinect is going to change the face of gaming and blah, 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 blah. We love Kinect. Everything's going to have Kinect. And now I guess it's not the case.
Well, it still goes back to the privacy thing. People don't want a camera that's on 24/7 inside your house. So they caved to the demand not to be basically seen 24/7.
Well, it's also $100 cheaper without the Connect. That's 25%. That's a pretty big deal.
I'd rather have the Xbox One with the Kinect.
Well, so would I, because I think of it, over the lifespan of 4 years, it's worth it to me to have that.
Oh yeah.
But I can see why people don't want the Kinect, and some people just don't care for it.
Mhm.
Some people hate gaming with Kinect, and they're even going to use it, so yeah, they don't need a Kinect. Let's be fair. I mean, really, the games that really do the Kinect, it's like Let's Dance Bootylicious version 3. That's like your Kinect games. A lot of even the AAA titles don't really do the most fantastic job of implementing the Kinect. They've done it because they have to, but
Mhm.
it's not always like, yay, I want this for the Kinect. So I just, I think from a pure, unless it's a game for the Kinect, like the dance games or the sports games,
Mhm.
I just don't see the Kinect as a great interface for gaming in general, for like real games. I mean,
Yeah,
I think it can have its
it's not.
place, but I'm like, I don't care for it.
It's not. The the Connect to me is just an added privilege to be able to do things by voice command. I
And if
just
people
like
don't
it.
want to use it, then they don't have to
Yeah,
use it.
yeah.
So, so I thought that was interesting. So now it's basically the Xbox and the PS3 are really on the same price footing.
Hmm.
That's what it comes down to.
Hmm. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I know that Zealous has got to leave in a second, but I did want to break this one piece of news. I know this happened basically a day ago, but Zealous and I would like to both send our condolences to any family members or friends of H.R. Geiger, the individual who was the famous artist behind the Xenomorph, of course, famously in all the Alien films. He unfortunately died from a fall. He died at age 74. So,
Gee, that sucks.
but that
He had
guy,
some great work over the years.
oh my God, I mean, I'm going to say, some of his work is disturbing. Like,
In a
not,
good way.
yeah, in a good way. The way that he meshed like this, like mechanical feel with like everyday objects and kind of squished it. And like I said, some of it's slightly uncomfortable for me,
Yeah,
but
he had a skill for
he was a visionary. I mean, they have, and of course now I need to go to Switzerland because there apparently is a bar that is like decked out in basically all the alien designs, and it's called
it.
the
Oh,
Geiger
wonderful.
Bar.
You can probably just go to Area 51 bar or something and stay. Come pretty close.
You know. Well, anyways, okay, so unfortunately, we're not going to be doing the elongated Twitch feed this evening because Elias is about to go. But I did want to wrap this up in a nice little bow. So, thank
Very
you
good.
for tuning in to the Ultra Confusion Hangout. Tune in next week where I'm sure that we'll have craziness, and I probably will be out of my mind because I will have hopefully packed all my stuff up for MomoCon, which starts next Friday. So,
Nice, yo, nice.
yes. So for myself, Charlie, and Zelius, thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you next week.
Remember, kids, keep on gaming in the free world.
Amen to that, brother.